Rising alone is lonely.
Yeah.
Rising together is empowering.
And the women look at you and say, what a bitch.
But I wanted the career. It just worked out that I was the more ambitious of the two of us.
Great, you can have a career and you can have kids, but you're also going to do it all.
But also make sure dinner's on the table at 5. And one myth about women in leadership you want to dismantle.
We're emotional.
We're bitches.
The Red Chair Podcast. Real truth behind real people in real estate.
Okay, well, hi there. Thank you for joining us again at the Red Chair Podcast. My name is April. We're happy to have you here with us today, and I am super excited about today's conversation. I've got two agents here with me, and we're going to be talking about women in real estate, and I think this is going to be a very great conversation. So I'm going to start by just saying, today we're going to kind of dive into the uniqueness of women in real estate, maybe talk about some myths around being a woman in real estate and some of the things that we cherish. And so the triumphs, the tension, the truths, it's all here today for you. So we're going to, no pressure, guys, but there you go. There's the intro. And so I want to welcome our guests this morning. First, we've got Sharon Dean. She is a realtor. This is kind of her second act after being in the private sector and government management positions, and was licensed during the pandemic. I hate saying the word COVID, so I always say pandemic because I like it better. And but I just said it. So that's a tough start, but you've been you're entering your 6th year as a realtor, and that's awesome. And so thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
Also on the couch today, we've got Guinevere Howes. She's a managing broker, a veteran realtor. She's the co-lead of the Porchlight Property Group. I love this, with a reputation of sharp negotiation skills, calm problem solving. I've yet to see that, but all right. And a borderline concerning, this is self-proclaimed, a borderline concerning love of spreadsheets. She brings strategy and heart to every transaction. So a proud education junkie, Guinevere not only takes every course she can, but she also teaches them too. And she teaches them wonderfully. She's a consistent supporter of our Royal LePage Shelter Foundation and was recognized as a top 5% donor in 2024. Congratulations on that, and welcome to the couch today.
Thank you.
Thank you. Guys, so let's just, girls, gals, queens, let's just dive into it. So let's talk first about leadership. Let's just start from the top down. So I'm going to ask you some questions. This is just girls chatting over coffee. We've got our great podcast mugs here, and we're just going to chat about what it looks like to be a woman in real estate, and maybe we'll do it without doing too much bashing of the other, species, the male realtors. So let's just start by asking you, tell me how you got started in real estate. We talked a little bit there in the opener, Sharon, about how you started, but let's unpack that a little further.
I'd been in government for a long time, and things had happened within government changing. So I left. I got a great severance package. And took a year off and traveled and had a wonderful time, and then thought, what am I going to do now? And it was the first time, I think, in my life that I was able to make a decision just for me. I was an empty nester. I had no real financial burdens per se, and so I decided that I wanted to go into real estate. It's something I'd always been interested in, but never felt that I was financially, or when I was married, we were financially stable enough to have the kind of job where your salary was up and down, which is what happens in real estate.
Right.
So, that was the decision, and I took the test and learned a lot, passed it, and here I am.
Awesome. And how did that feel like, going back to school, studying again, writing an exam? What did that feel
it's
like?
funny. It's like what Guinevere says. It's I love to learn. It doesn't matter what age you are. I got my bachelor's degree when I was in my 40s. So it wasn't a big deal. It was more of the sense of comprehension. Like, am I going to remember this? So once I passed the test, I was thrilled, and just moved forward from there. I think it's different for everyone, but people who like to learn, it's a constant. You need it actually within your life just to keep you going.
Sure.
So, and that's, plug for Royal LePage. That's what's great about Royal LePage is that they're constantly putting on workshops and training like Guinevere and everybody else.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. Guinevere, what about you?
Well, kind of the same. I've always had an interest in real estate. I used to want to go to the open houses when I was a kid. I remember shopping for a house with my mom, and it was just like super fun. Your priorities change as you grow up, obviously. Like cool hidden rooms were the mains when I was like 8.
Where can I build a fort?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Can I climb that tree? Okay. But yeah, and then my first purchase, I was quite young. I was 20, and my realtor maybe let me down a little bit. Didn't give me all the information that I needed regarding strata, didn't give me any guidance because I bought a condo. And then on closing day, was on vacation, hadn't told me, left me scrambling with a packed U-Haul, and so that was a bit stressful. And like Sharon, I was a little nervous to go just commission-based, so it took a while. I went on a few different tracks thinking I would maybe be a lawyer, so I worked in the legal department for a while, then I thought I'd be an accountant, realized I can't sit all day. And so back to real estate and just take the risk.
Awesome. That's great. So a follow-up question to that would be sort of like, what does leadership look like to you as a woman in the industry? Why don't you guys respond how you want?
I think it's different for everyone. And it depends on where you're at in your career, where you're at in your life. For me, I look at real estate a little bit differently because it's a second career. It's not a end-all, be-all money maker per se. So for me, leadership is basically anybody who's new and starting out and has questions, be there to answer them. Help them out when they need to. I have a tendency to pay it forward with open houses and using realtors that are newish because they want to learn, but also because I had realtors do that for me when I first started out, and it was a godsend.
Yeah.
It allowed you to have some mentorship. They taught you how to do things, and I think it's a pay it forward kind of thing. And always, again, it goes back to that always learning, always wanting to learn, and knowing that you'll never know everything.
Yeah, that's so good. I think so much of what we do as independent contractors, we have to kind of forge our own business, create our own plans. But the whole piece about paying it forward is just so important. When we talk about leadership, and maybe I love the answer, but also, women in this industry, we are our own bosses, right? Like, we all work at different brokerages and we have responsibilities to those brokerages. But at the end of the day, and maybe some people don't realize this, but we are all independent contractors. We are all private business owners. And so you become your own boss. And so kind of what does that feel like for you? Like what that is a leadership role. So how do you embrace that? What does it look like for you?
I think that's an interesting question. And for me, it's a tougher question because I think I've always thought of myself as my own boss. And probably previous employers would have maybe felt the same way.
And that's why you're doing what you're doing now.
And that's why I'm here. Yeah. I think my mom would say I was born my own boss. But yeah, so I think it is, again, the same idea. It's a little bit different for everybody. And leadership is absolutely different even in this career because we talk about leadership. Are we talking about leadership with our clients? Are we talking about leadership with our colleagues? Are we talking about leadership?
Yeah.
And those look different.
Right.
Each time, right? I mean, there's some consistency or some things that could be consistent, being calm, which I have yet to master, but working on it. Clear, concise, and consistent. And I think those flow to all those types of leadership, and they should apply to you and your business as well, because I think that's one area that is often unique, not always, because there are men who juggle family and kids and all of those types of things, but often that falls to the woman. So they have different juggling between their business and actually making it a business versus you can't call up and say, hey, I'm calling in sick today because there's nobody to back you up unless you're on a team. But
Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
so it is a little bit different, and I think women are actually women are uniquely skilled because they've juggled so much in their life in a different fashion than men. Men are going to have, without being too stereotypical, men are going to have some skill sets that are different, but the multitasking has typically been more of the female role.
That's a really good point.
It is a great point. I think about that image that I've seen before where, men, they show male and they show one button that's pushed, and then they show female and they show this huge circuit board of all these wires that are connecting in different, and I think that's kind of, not to say that, I think for men it is easier. They just press the button and they go. We have to, we were just talking about it before we started here, we have a thought about something, but we go in 5 different places before we get there, right? And so that multitasking piece is so important.
Well, it's a natural. Society's kind of, we've talked about this before and had conversation about it, where society has an expectation, and women, I think, in general, are trying very hard to change a bit of those expectations, and that we have to do so many things. I do notice that in the younger generation that men are stepping up a little bit more. I see it in my own son where he's a new dad. He's right in there like a dirty shirt. And I get in trouble for saying that. My daughter gets mad at me. Stop saying like a dirty shirt. Anyway, sorry. So it is the multitasking I think that women have to do is much easier because we've been doing it for so long.
Yeah. And I think the expectation, and it is evolving. I mean, that's what humans do, thankfully. Sometimes we de-evolve, but it is evolving because I think we're seeing a change in just society's expectations and norms, right? So, but it still primarily falls on women, and women are typically thought to take care of the emotional needs too, right?
Yes.
So that adds an extra skill set that balances out.
Yeah.
Right? Some of the things where we have missed that over the years, right?
Yeah. That's so good. So maybe playing into that a little bit, the things that we've just talked about, have you ever led differently, like with a client or somebody, or even another agent? Have you ever led differently because of your experiences as a woman? What did that look like?
I would say, for me, I don't think I lead any differently, but I think the expectations that you face out there are different. And for anybody that knows me, I have a tendency to be quite blunt and straightforward, and I may not be the most emotionally skilled. So I think it's more that I surprise people in the way that I lead as opposed to what's expected, right? And I would say I'm not really much to change who I am. And so it might be different for Sharon.
Yeah, I find sometimes with clients learning not to read them, but we've talked about this before too, is hearing them.
Yeah.
And so you have to almost, it's not leading differently, it's just shifting. And shifting your mindset. You may have thought that they wanted to go one route, and then as you listen to them, you find that they want to go another route, or and trying to manage that. And a lot of times working with buyers, they think they want one thing, and then as you start working with them and you're showing them places and you're having the conversations and all of that, you realize that that's not anywhere near what they originally were looking for. So you have to kind of shift on demand for them. I don't think it's a matter of changing a leadership style. I think it's a matter of just shifting based on what they're wanting. But all in all, I mean, you have to be true to yourself. And I think Guinevere that's a really good example, is you are who you are. Yeah. And people will accept you for that or not. And if they don't, then maybe they're not
another realtor for them.
Exactly,
right? Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So good.
Yeah. The only other thing I would say on sort of that, or why would I say the only other thing? I could talk forever.
No,
but
I
one
don't
of
think so.
no, one of the things I would say is that occasionally, and I'm sure this happens to everybody, but occasionally you run into agents, and I would say that there's times where I feel like another agent, particularly of the opposite sex, talks down patronizingly and doesn't show like an honest level of respect or
Right.
equal treatment.
Right.
And that tends to put my back up. So it's not necessarily leadership, but it definitely changes the way that I interact.
Yeah.
Obviously, I still want to be very professional, but I lose that. I get much more firm, and I lose that compassionate empathy.
Yeah.
And I think that's unfortunate. I try to work on seeing it from a different perspective, but
Right.
it definitely gets my back up. And I know, talking to other women, they've experienced it as well. It's,
Yeah, and so we're going to unpack some of that now, and I think this will be sort of like the spicier part of the conversation, or just where we might get a little more heated. And it's, clients is one thing, and I think we have the ability to balance our emotions fairly and clearly with clients because we want the same thing in the end, right? Like, it's a highly emotional situation, buying or selling a house. And so a lot of times we just have to, as a leader of this particular situation, say, I'm going to check my emotions and my feelings at the door and do what's best for the client, even if they're frustrated or angry or happy or whatever. But it's different when we're now dealing with other colleagues in the industry, which is a whole other beast sometimes, right? And so I think we definitely deal with some challenges and some biases when it comes to being a realtor, a female realtor in the industry. Have you come across any biases or challenges?
Yes.
Yeah.
And
feel free to
I mean,
tell
you have,
stories.
well,
Don't name
no.
names.
I mean, and it's not always gender specific either,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I mean, I had one client a while back, and I was working with another colleague who happened to be male, and they were lovely, but they had a tendency to defer to the male colleague.
Right.
And we were both saying the same thing, but there was just that wanting, and the client was female. And I found that frustrating, but I also, but then that's when you have to back up and say, okay, that's who they are. That's not on me. That's who they are. That's how they feel most comfortable, and you just have to let it go.
Yeah.
But there are times where, there can be clients like a husband and wife situation, and you're working with them. And again, I had this where the male was very domineering, but you knew that the female was, they wanted to get their 2 cents in, but they
Yeah.
were actually feeling that they shouldn't. And it's really hard to try and then pull that information out. And yeah, it can be very frustrating, and it's not just in this industry. It's everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it was brutal in government too. But yeah, it's
Yeah.
yeah, and I haven't had as much with the clients in general, because also you are your own boss. They are your clients, which does mean that if you aren't getting along, they can fire you.
Yep.
But you can fire them.
Absolutely.
And that's a whole different discussion on setting up your business the way you want it.
Right.
And I think women need to think about that, not just women, agents in general,
Yeah.
but because that goes down a whole track of safety too. So
oh yeah.
Yeah.
well,
yeah,
we
there's
won't
a
go down that
safety
rabbit
piece.
hole.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we will.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
But I have had a few incidents with agents, and they did happen to be of the opposite sex, who would call and tell me, this is how you do it. And I'm like, this is how you do it is different than how I do it. Or they'll tell me, this is the only way, or this is the right way. And sometimes that way is wrong.
Yeah.
And they've been in 4 years, and I've been in coming up 18 years. And I'm also going to say experience doesn't always mean experience.
I was just going to say
Because
that.
I've had this
Yes.
with 25-year veterans.
Yes.
And they're just, or they'll say things like, oh, honey.
Yeah.
And I have to take a deep breath.
Yeah.
And be like, that's when it does. It becomes to me just the factual, here it is. No, I'm not doing it this way. That's your way. And I just, I think that is a hard one to shift in our society. And it's not like we'd love to say, oh, well, that's an old generational thing. I have had people 10 years my junior.
Yeah.
Oh, darling.
Yeah.
What? What?
See, I told you it was going to get spicy.
Or, I know what I'm doing and you need to do it this way. Would you tell someone else that?
Yeah.
I just, I'm very, no. But I think that's a struggle, and I think that especially for new agents coming in, because there's also some, I don't love the word bullying, but there is definitely bullying tactics that happen in negotiation.
That's the right word.
And how to diffuse those situations. And it isn't it isn't just male specific, absolutely not. The other thing that I find on that sort of thought is you're so emotional because you're a woman. And everyone is emotional. Anger is an emotion, by the way.
Yeah.
And almost every decision is an emotional decision. Whether we want to use our spreadsheets and our logic, it's still emotional. We're just using spreadsheets and logic to justify our way of thinking, which is based on the emotion that's created in ourselves, right?
Right.
So it's this, women are emotional, drives me crazy. Humans are emotional.
Yeah.
And if you're not, I'm confused.
Yeah, that's so good. One of the things that I was thinking about when I was preparing for this that I find super challenging as a woman, especially a woman in leadership, is that if you put your foot down and you say, no, this is the way it's going to be, you do become emotional. And so it's controversial to say, but I will say it. The male might say, well, she is, she's getting her way somehow somewhere else in order to climb the ladder. That's their reasoning for why you're doing so well. And the women look at you and say, what a bitch. Like, she's bossy and she's loud and abrasive. No, she just knows what she wants. And she's working towards her own successes. And I find that to be very challenging. It's like, how come you can't just be yourself? And just like these are the steps that I've taken in my life to have a successful career. I had a mentor many years ago who she dealt with that all the time. It was like, there was either a underlying thing there that she was like easy or something, and that's how she climbed the ladder. And then the women would go behind and say, well, her hair is not real, her eyelashes aren't real, like all these things. You find all these flaws in an effort to just pull this person apart. And really, we should just be especially women, we should be celebrating other women and saying, yeah, like let's be leaders together, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, rising alone is lonely.
Yeah.
Rising together is empowering.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I don't understand why it's so hard, but it's not unique. I think that part is actually not unique to women. Men just tear each other down differently.
Oh, interesting. Let's unpack
It's funny,
that.
it's interesting because I was having this conversation with my partner, and we were talking about the differences and how women, his words were, they get catty and they overreact and they're over emotional and yada yada yada. And I said, yeah, but you guys do too. He goes, no, we don't. We punch each other out and then we're good.
And then the next day they're having beer together.
But the argument then is, but you didn't resolve the situation. Whereas women may do what they do, but they resolve the situation. And that's an overgeneralization, absolutely. And I don't mean to stereotype. But I think that I think there are differences in the way men think and the way women think, and I think that there is a tendency for women to, please don't take this wrong, the women do overthink in general, or I will talk about me. I overthink. I know I do, and it's kind of like, well, what about this and what about that? Plan A, Plan B, contingency, because I think that's what we had to do. It's all part of the multitasking.
Yeah.
You've got to look at every single
It's that circuit
scenario,
board.
and come up with a, what is the solution to that?
Yeah.
Because this could happen. Whereas, I find in a lot of males, my partner, it's one way or God, I hope he doesn't watch this.
Although I think it's funny because we're friends, and that's probably one of the things that drives you the most crazy about me is I'm like, stop overthinking, just make a decision and move on.
Yeah.
Not stop.
Easier said than done,
But
right?
It is because
Yeah. I have a
it's almost a
classic overthinker
wiring. I
too.
think sometimes it's because I think it's just the way sometimes you're made.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I do think though, coming back to the men and women and humans, right?
Yeah.
Some of it is absolutely society trained, right? And I think the forceful female is threatening to men as well because they tear it down too. They say things like she's crazy, she's a bitch.
Yeah.
I can't believe how loud she is when the man just did the exact same thing.
Right.
Right. And that fits
And he
into
said darling while he did
and he
it.
said, darling, yeah. And so the gender roles, or who gets the coffee, who takes the notes, right? Like
Right.
these things that
Oh, yeah.
we need to talk about
100%.
to change. And I feel the same for men. There's things that they need to talk about to change, and everybody should be part of the conversation to change it because we can't and accept what we feel. If overthinking is, something that's more common within
Me. Yeah, let's just face it. Yeah.
with women. And I would say, honestly, that's one of the challenges that I found in my life is I feel sometimes like because there's such stereotypes between the gender roles and I don't feel like I really fit in either one, that can be hard because your expectation is that you're a woman and you're...
Therefore, you must be this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And you should be, compassionate and empathetic, which you should be. All of us should be.
Of course, yeah.
But that's going to
That's
be your
your
main
role.
role. And I have always struggled with that a little bit in my life. It's not that I'm not compassionate and empathetic and I feel for people. I want things to move forward and I want to make a plan, let's try it. Make a plan, let's try it. We can change anything we need to change. But I don't want to sit and just feel like, let's think about 5 million different ways this could go wrong.
Right.
Or what different tracks it can take. And I don't want to spend a lot of time. I have been told by friends, sometimes I just need to tell you I'm upset.
Yeah.
No solutions.
Yeah.
And that's an expectation, I think, that falls on women. And it's great. We need those people. And men should be able to do it too. And we all need to learn it. But that expectation is hard.
Well, you bring up a really good point about the empathy and the caring, and it takes back to being, a mom and raising kids, but wanting a career. I was one of those women that wanted the career. I have 2 amazing kids. I love them to death, but I wanted the career. It just worked out that I was the more ambitious of the 2 of us, and so again, going back to school and getting the degree and going for the jobs that were higher up, more stress related and all of that, to the point where I think some other women and possibly men too, you're then jaded as being not a great mom because you're
100%.
career driven.
Yeah.
And in this day and age, that shouldn't, why is it that men are allowed to be career driven and women aren't? I mean, we biologically have to have the kids. I get that. But there's no reason why women can't be as career-driven and still have the empathy and compassion and love for their kids.
Yeah.
But if it goes back to your point, is saying, I'm not sure if I have that much or whatever. I felt that too as a mom because I wanted the career as well as the motherhood. And I wasn't a stay-at-home mom. I didn't want to be a stay-at-home mom. It was, couldn't do it.
It's hard. And I think, we deal with this balancing act all the time, and we're classic comparers.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Like we always look at what someone else is doing. Growing with my kids, raising, that was a priority. I wanted to be home with the kids. And real estate really allowed me to do that because I could do a lot of it because I was self-employed. You know, when they would go down for naps, I'd be putting CMAs together and, you know, sending properties to people. And I was very fortunate that I had a partner who would come home, drop the kids with him, and off I'd go for showings. So
me too.
It worked.
Yeah.
But, you know, there were those quiet times where you sit there and you go, oh, look, she made banana bread for her
I
kids
know.
from scratch.
The
from
heartbreak.
the bananas from her garden. And,
Yeah.
you know, like, it's just, you
Or
know,
your kid comes home and says, why can't you be more like so-and-so's
right?
mom?
Or, yeah, you sign up for, you know, a volunteer session at the school and, you know, and you come in and you're in a messy bun and you've got, you know, the makeup on from yesterday because you showed properties and didn't offer till 10 and, you know, and on it goes. And then there's this beautiful mom who, you know, probably the lunches were, you know, done lovely and my kids had whatever, like a chocolate bar or something, you know, and it's like, we are our worst enemy when it comes to that kind of stuff. We judge so harshly other women, but
and more
also
power
we
to them
put
that they
ourselves
had that
against
opportunity
them.
to stay home. I mean, I don't judge anybody for that. It just wasn't for me.
Right.
And then when you talk about the comparison, like this industry is brutal for that.
Yeah.
Brutal.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, I know first starting out and, you know, a couple of colleagues that are still in the business and we kind of had our little own mentor group at the very beginning and they were doing really, really well. And I wasn't. I was struggling. And
That's hard.
It's really hard because as much as they say, oh, you're your own person and you got to go your own route and you can't compare, you absolutely
100%.
compare.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because you can't figure out what am I doing wrong? Like, why are they getting the clients and I'm not?
And I think that's kind of also an interesting, just like, discussion that our society needs to have. Is like, we have gone from, you know, the women stayed at home and took care of the kids. Then it kind of moved into the workforce. But it didn't become we share it all. It became we do it all.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? It didn't become, well, you can have it all if you do it all. And the expectation falls that, yeah, you can do it all. So you can have a career and you can have kids, but you're also going to do it all.
Everything else.
But also make sure dinner's on the table at 5. And
Yes.
The lunches are packed and you're volunteering and you're at the
And your
Girl
eyebrows
Guides
are
or Boys.
done and-
Yeah.
I have to say, you know, personally, I was lucky. I had a he's my ex-husband, but we're really good friends. He was a great dad, and he was like what you said. It's like the shifts worked. That you know, he would take them to school, and I would pick them up and stuff. And I think that's, if you can now get that, you're very, very lucky.
Yeah.
And I do think the generation has changed a little bit more. Where, as I said earlier, that the fathers are kind of getting more of the hands-on.
Yeah.
But you're right. It's like, I mean, when I was like, there's a slight difference in age here. When I was raising my kids, it was, you do it all. You know, that's it.
And I think, honestly, it is going to be something that, as society changes, men are facing too. Mm-hmm. Because we are seeing more single fathers, or we are seeing more, you know, fathers that, or you have relationships that are different makeups, right? We've let go a lot of our traditional roles, and it's just women were the first to experience this. It's not, we haven't figured it out,
Right.
and it's now going to, it's spreading. Mm-hmm. In the nicest, I don't know. That sounded terrible. Spreading like a disease.
It's like a disease. Yeah, no, it's good. It's good.
And I actually, you made a really good and interesting point, and I think, April, because your roles have changed, right? I mean, you've only been with LePage for a little while. I feel like now I turned it on.
Turn it on the podcast.
Turn it on. But your role has shifted, and you're more involved now in some of like the growth and the leadership and the change, which is still predominantly male. It's changing as well. But when you talked about that, you know, the women only get there because
because of certain things.
And there's so much judgment and some feeling of like, there's the word, it just escaped me, but like, you're ostracized a little bit. For being, for rising,
That's
right?
right. Yeah.
And like you've been in real estate for a while, you took the break with your kids a little bit, but do you feel like that's shifted at all? Do you still feel it's the same level that it was?
I love that you're asking me the question. I mean, it's interesting because
We could be here all day.
We really could. This could be like a 4-parter, really. But you know, so I sold real estate for a long time. I've been in real estate for 30 years, which is crazy to me, in different roles. Sold for a while, you know, licensed in 2 provinces, came sort of back into more of a leadership position. And I have to tell you, the first 3 to 4 months of being in this leadership role, I would go every day and be like, someone's going to know that I'm wrong or I'm a fraud.
Imposter syndrome. Yeah.
Total imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
Because I think, you know, you adapt to wherever you are as you're raising kids. And not everybody's raising kids. You could be, you know, everybody's doing different things. You know, I'm not saying that it's only about moms and stuff, because everybody has their challenges. But like, you know, always picking and choosing career steps that allowed me to raise my family as well.
Yes.
And then literally when I took this position with LePage, I sat my kids down and I said, is it okay if mom goes to work and I'm going to travel and I'm going to be gone more? I'm going to be working out of the home, not like in an office. And they're like, Mom, go. Like, you've raised us, we're good. And they're a little bit older now. But I would literally come home every night. I would go to work and I'd be like, man, I crushed it. Like, I'm really, really actually good at this. Because, you know, that whole comparison thing. Come home, get in bed, literally get in bed straight from home, curl into a ball and cry, and think to myself, at some point, someone's going to say, she has no idea what she's talking about. And then I'd go back every day and do the same thing. And people were like, you're so awesome. You're so good at this. You're so natural. Go home, cry. Like, it was this really bizarre situation that went on for several months, which I spoke to a therapist about, which is always important to do. And this is where I found out about imposter syndrome. And that changed my life. It was like, no, actually, and still to this day, so it's, you know, been a couple, 2.5 years now since I've been back with LePage in this leadership role. And there are days, just last week, where I'm in the car and I'm second guessing, I'm overthinking, like you said, Sharon. And I'm driving out to an event for something, and I literally am at the wheel. If people saw me, they must have thought I was crazy. I went, no, you did the right thing. You made the right choice. You should be proud of you. It's going to be okay. And then off I went. But I had to, like, do that self-talk to be like,
Isn't that the hardest thing to do, though?
crazy? It's like,
I mean, people talk about, getting up in the morning and in the mirror as you will, like, I think
start
it's
your day with daily affirmation.
yeah,
right?
and go time
Yeah.
and, all of that.
All
And
the
it's-
coaches tell
I feel like
you.
an idiot. I look in the mirror and go, it's the woman, or not the woman, it's the negative talk. It's like,
Yeah.
what the
The
hell
devil
were
and
you
the
thinking?
angel, right?
Yeah,
On your shoulders going, you don't know what you're talking
Yeah.
about, but you're beautiful. And,
Yeah. No, you're not.
Yeah.
But it is. It's sitting in the
is.
car and doing the self-talk and saying, you can do this. And I think everybody, I think it is, not especially, but in this career, from what I can understand and from because I thought I was the only one. I second guess all the time. Am I doing the right thing? There'll be times, and talk about mentorship. It has nothing to do with age, because one of my best mentors is Guinevere. Like, I've called her up I don't know how many times. And now I've learned to say, okay, here's what I think I should be doing.
Yeah.
And if I'm looking, we'll bring it up. If I'm looking at her face to face, it's that look we joke about. It's like, yeah. Or if we're on the phone, it'll be, yeah, you're right. But I didn't believe in myself enough to
Right.
say that I
Yeah.
knew what I was doing. And I don't know if it's because we don't do it enough, or I am amazed by this woman and the amount of knowledge she has,
awesome.
and the amount of recall that she has, and just her overall knowledge of the industry like that.
Yeah.
It just comes. So You're a good mentor.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh, that's so nice.
It is very kind of you. And I think it's interesting because, like, I'm not a mom. So I don't have the same...
Well, you are a mom.
Yeah, you just have fur babies.
I have fur babies. And I was, like,
And
I'm
they're
a
needy.
stepmom.
Yeah.
But it's not, it isn't the same. It's a different thing. But the imposter syndrome and the self-doubt is something that I've just not, like, I mean, I have a little bit of it, but it's not something I've struggled with the same way. And so it is interesting to hear how hard that is for other people. And
it's a real thing. You
Oh,
know,
yeah.
I've heard of that before. But when you're actually gripped by it, and I would encourage people, if you're feeling that way, like, go talk to somebody,
Yes.
get some help, because, you know, it's in this industry, and we're going to talk about balance and burnout and boundaries in just a second. But in this industry, we are pulled in so many directions. And there is that constant comparison, because it's like, well, you know, I think we're the worst ones at looking at other agents' social media. You know, like, I think people put up their social media just so other agents look at it. And then we compare, oh, well, they've got this beautiful $5 million listing and they're driving in a whatever. And, you know, like, but that's not reality, right? And so I think understanding that we've got this issue with comparing, we might have an issue with that imposter syndrome, that not feeling worthy enough to be in the leadership role that we're in. It's a thing.
And it's also, it's not even comparing too, it's perception. Like you just said, the guy, I don't mean it that way, the realtor who's driving up in the, you know, the Mercedes or the, you know, the expensive car, and you think, wow, they must be doing really well. The perception is that, but you don't know. They could be hugely in debt. They could be leasing the car. It could be
He's
their
got a
mom's or dad's
large
car.
car payment, and my Honda Accord is paid off.
Yeah, my little Nissan Juke
Right?
is doing well. Yeah, you're absolutely right,
Yeah.
but it's the perception in this industry again.
Yes.
Is very, it almost thrives on perception. It goes back to the social media, and you know, you want to put out there that you're doing well. Otherwise, why would you do it? You
Exactly.
don't want to go out there and go,
Please buy from me.
Yeah, I'm not selling. There's nothing. I have nothing.
That wouldn't be a good
No.
a branding platform for you, I don't think.
yeah, and I think that the other thing that goes along with that, the perception, but also is that the idea that leadership means you have to have all the answers.
Yeah,
Which comes
right.
in
Yeah.
the social media as well. And in fact, leadership means knowing that you don't know
Yes.
all the
Right.
answers, and that you can refer
Yes.
to the experts in that field, or you're going to go do the research, and being able to make decisions and own your decisions. And I think that actually, if you look at a lot of social media, that's lacking.
Yeah.
And so the perception out there is so skewed.
Yeah.
So good, yeah. So true. Okay, well, let's kind of like pivot away from that. I feel like that's been amazing, that bit of conversation. Let's talk about balance. Let's talk about boundaries. Let's talk about burnout. I mean, this could be a whole session on its own. But let's sit there for a minute, and let's just talk about how, if we even manage our work-life balance. I hate that term so much, work-life balance. But are you able to do that? Do you have a good work-life balance right
Do you
now?
want to go first?
The answer to that question for me is no.
No.
I don't. And I don't actually believe that work-life balance, like you, I hate that sentence.
I know.
It's not a reality. Sometimes life is going to take over.
Right.
Sometimes work is going to
Yeah.
take over. It's the boundaries part.
Yeah.
On-
It should be work-life boundaries.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because balance is actually, that just is an overwhelming sentence. Balancing things feels stressful.
How?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, I should have and that's just another achievement that we're not making and makes us feel bad about
Right.
ourselves.
Right.
So like, oh, I see work-life balance and it's like, oh, I'm juggling all these things. Is that great? No, that's not. You know, I'm on a scale and I'm trying to balance it. That doesn't feel positive to me either. So I'm not. I'm like you. I don't want the work-life balance sentence. I want to have my boundaries so that I know what's important. So when is work my focus, and am I putting enough boundaries in place so that work is successful for me and for the people I'm producing the work for. Because if I don't have those boundaries, I'm not producing quality work or the work that I would like and I'm proud of. Some self-talk in there for the people who doubt themselves might struggle. But and the same with my life. Like, am I giving enough time to my life? And am I putting boundaries in my own life? Because we don't always have boundaries in our personal life, whether it become our family, whether it's, our friends, our social engagements, understanding who we are. I have a tendency I am an introvert with the most extroverted schedule I don't even understand. So the social, and when do we say no? And how do we say no? And no lie, I have not figured that out. And yes, I get close to the feeling of burnt out. We had another agent in our office who did a presentation recently that I wasn't able to attend, even though I feel like I'm getting close to burnout. And then I was like, oh, I should pay for the recap, but I'm too burnt out. Oh, how am I going to fight my burnt out
to watch a webinar on
how to prevent burnout?
That's a whole other day.
Yeah, another podcast.
So yes, that is a big. I'm still a work in progress.
Yeah.
I think we all are. Sharon, what would you say to that?
In my previous life, like when I worked in government, prior to that, I was on the political side. So I worked in parliament buildings with cabinet ministers, and that was a 24/7 job, and that was really high stress. And you had to be on all the time. You had to know all the time, and that to me was my burnout. I also had young kids, and I was doing my degree, so I think there was a little bit of manic going on there too. But that was my ultimate burnout. And so, and then moving on into other jobs and then going back into government, I think I was done. My health was not doing well. So the best thing that ever happened to me was leaving government and getting laid off in 2017 because I had to reassess where I wanted to go with my life. And I did. And so for me, coming into real estate and being my own boss was something that was like, one, I had a hard time with it in that I didn't know how to boss myself because I was used to a paycheck and I was used to guidelines and boundaries and all of that. So coming into real estate, I didn't have that, but I also was able to, I'm not going to do that, or I'm going to go golfing. And because, again, as I said earlier, because I'm later on in life in this career, I don't have to worry so much about, like, I still have to make money, but I don't have to make the big bucks. So that took a lot of the pressure off too. So I was able to, if I didn't want to, I didn't bother. I didn't, like I have clients, but I've never been one to have like a huge list of clients. So I did find at one point when I got really, really busy with real estate, my body kind of shut down and I had a bit of a issue health-wise. And that was just a wake-up call that basically, and I was told by a doctor, it's not this, it's just that you've layered so much adrenaline and stress on your life that now your body is saying, that's not happening. So listen to it. And I did.
That's a good
point. So I've dialed it back, and I probably should work harder than I do. Listen, I should work harder than I do, but I don't. And I enjoy it, and I golf, and I spend time with my granddaughters, and I like Thursdays now I call Millie days. They're my granddaughter. I look after her on Thursdays, so that's can't do it. So I'm learning. Like as I say, there's a difference in age here, but it's taken me this long to set that boundary and to say, you know what, I'm not
that inspires me to set the boundaries much earlier.
Well, and Guinevere and I have had conversations about it, and I've, mentored a little bit and nagged her a little bit and said, you've got to set the boundary. It's not about saying no. It's just about setting the boundary and saying, you know what, I'm not going to do that. And it's hard.
And
It's
one of the
really
things
hard.
with that is, and we talked about this in one of the previous podcasts as well, was, just having an understanding of boundaries, particularly with your clients.
Yes.
Because clients can often, they'll see something come up and they want to go see it right now or, after 7 or whatever. And if you decide that your business runs from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., then that's when it runs. And, just having enough confidence and control of your situation to say, I will not take your call after this time unless you're in an active, contract situation. That's different. But putting up those boundaries and saying that time beyond that is my personal time. And I don't know about you guys, but I find as a woman, a lot of times, even with friends, it doesn't even have to be about business, with friends or with family even, someone will call and say, hey, do you want to go for coffee? Oh, I can't. I have this. And you go through this big, long explanation as to why you can't. We can just leave it as, oh, I'm sorry, I've got something booked.
Yeah.
And leave it right there. We do not have to explain why we can't do what we're being asked to do. But we do it all the time. And I think we take some of the control back when we just put up the boundaries and say, no, I am not available. I'm sorry, we'll have to do it another time.
It's interesting though, but I find even like just from watching you and being a managing broker, it's harder because I know that we've, as you said, we're friends and we'll do things outside of work. But if Guinevere is the managing broker on duty, it doesn't matter. She's getting phone calls all the time,
Right.
and you can't turn it off.
Yeah.
And I find that I watch it and I see that like I find it frustrating for her because you feel that that sense of you just never get to turn it off.
Yeah.
And that's where I was going about the amount of knowledge that you have it just comes.
Yeah.
And it blows me away. So, yeah.
So I think, real estate really is a 24/7 business.
It is.
I mean, we work, I think we are at the beck and call of other people's off hours. Most people work days, so we're working evenings and weekends. And so, I don't think we are ever really truly there in terms of healthy boundaries. But can you think of one thing that you're doing right now that is a healthy boundary?
Well, I mean, so it's not consistent for me. There are a couple things, and I've done some things this year recently to make it a little bit more consistent. But every year, so this is consistent, I take 1 week and I'm off the grid. Off the grid. I'm not telling you where because, first of all, I'm alone and I don't want this to turn into a murder podcast.
Okay.
But yes, and so my phone is off. It's not only is it off, even if I turned it on, it's got no service.
Right.
So that's it. So I do it once a year, one week, and I'm
Unplugged.
and I'm unplugged from everyone, everything. And I've started to do just a couple things, like walking before our Tuesday meetings once a week, and trying to start to get in like biking, and then that's my time. So those boundaries are slowly coming into place to make my life a little healthier.
So good.
And also accepting what you don't like or don't want to do. So I order a meals service. Like, you still cook it, but it just comes. I don't have to do grocery shopping. I don't have to think about it. Like, I pick the things that I like. All of a sudden I'm eating healthier. And it's, why do I have to go to the grocery store? Why do I have to? Why not? And I actually find I'm saving money and less waste.
Right.
So acknowledging those things, it's not, I guess it's a boundary, but it's not really a boundary. It's like, yeah. Or you know what? You need to run the dishwasher twice because you got behind in life. Like, just accepting those things.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
great.
It's almost self-care too.
Totally. Anything else you want to add to that?
I mean, I golf. I
Yes.
started doing it in during the pandemic.
The pandemic.
My girlfriend and I were looking for something to do, and so we took lessons. And now I find that that's 2 hours, like I'll do 9 holes and it gets me out and it gets me some fresh air and I'm walking, and like I'll have my phone with me, but it does get me away from that headspace.
Right.
And I enjoy it. And then I have, like I say, my granddaughters, and they have a tendency to want you to be present.
Right.
So those are my two.
That's so good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, let's shift away from boundaries into kind of our final segment, which is around mentorship, which we kind of talked about off the top. But and we sort of talked about the mentorship relationship that you guys have going on, which is so great. And I strongly recommend that every, particularly every agent, but every female agent for sure, has a mentor. Find somebody that you really really resonate with and get along with, that you can bounce ideas off of, but also just to be frustrated with and stuff too, right? So we talked a little bit about the importance of mentorship and how we as women leaders can actually be a really good example for new agents coming into the business as well. What do you wish someone had told you earlier when you first started? What was something that you can think of that you wish you knew then that you know now?
It's not going to happen all at once.
Okay.
It's not the quick buck. You have to work your ass off in this business. And, I've had conversations with colleagues about the complacency. You get a commission check and you think, this is great.
Yeah.
And then you realize, oh my God, now I got to start all over again. It's that constant up and down. But then again, I think you can tell somebody, but until you actually experience it, you don't really understand it, I guess.
Yeah.
But that was a big one for me. And I have a tendency to want things to happen right away.
It's the long game.
It is, and that's probably the perfect way to say it. This is a long game industry. It's not short game. You may get some short wins,
Yeah.
but you gotta plan it out and understand business, which when I went into this, I probably didn't. Having never, owned my own business,
Right.
it took a while. And that, I guess, that's the other thing too, is realizing this is a business.
Yeah.
And you are the owner and operator.
Yeah.
And you really need to get your head wrapped around that. And I don't think I did at the very beginning.
Such good advice. Really good.
Yeah, I think that's great advice, and I think it is something that a lot of people come into the industry and don't understand, and then they don't treat themselves like an employee. They're like, eh. But and because of where I came from and like my financial and legal background and probably just the way my brain works, that wasn't as much of a struggle for me. But what I would say, I wish I had a better understanding, and maybe I would have come into the industry a little earlier, is if I actually viewed some of those things as negatives because I'm an introvert and I would often rather spend time with the spreadsheets and the statistics, and that there is room in this business for every personality and business
So good.
type, and you will attract your tribe.
Yeah.
Your clients will be more similar, or sometimes they will be different, but you're mostly going to work with the people who align with you. And the world is probably 50-50. I mean, we can call them ambiverts too. Maybe that's more what I am, but
What?
An ambivert.
I've never heard that.
I've
What
never
is
heard that either.
it's like you can be both. You're kind of
Oh,
like,
wow.
you
Okay.
you like a little bit of this
You're a
and like
hybrid.
you're hybrid. Yeah, because this
You
is going
are.
to sound terrible. Like, I will say I love people, and then 10 seconds later, I hate people.
I've heard that.
And I'm like, I'm going to go to this. I'm going to enjoy talking to people. And then I'm going to go home and not talk to anybody
Right.
for 2 weeks. No. And both can be lovely. But
I've seen you do that, and you're very good at it. I find that it's true. You'll go out to an event, and you're there, you're on, and you're talkative and all of that. I will go to an event. I will find one person, and I
Right.
will talk to them. I love clients, and I have no problem
Yeah.
working with them one-on-one. But then I go home, and it's like isolate.
Right.
And I get what you're saying. You do the same thing, but when you do the extroverted, you do it really well.
Thanks.
Whereas
I don't always feel
I'm
that
always thinking like, what do I say?
Yeah.
What do I ask? It's interesting.
Yeah, and so I think that's it, is understanding that if you feel like you don't fit the stereotypical loud, extroverted, charming personality who can sweet talk people into anything, that's okay.
Yeah.
In fact, like my first realtor, because I was quite young and was nothing like that. And somehow I still didn't see that that's an okay business model. That's it's okay. And there is room for you in this industry.
Yeah, I'm always amazed at the different personalities within the brokerage. It's like,
Oh yeah.
you know, wow, you know,
Yeah.
it's not there's not one personality. This business really is for everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you learn that when you take these classes too, or you
Yeah.
try to do some of the coaching sessions, and they're like, yeah, and this is it. And I'm like, if somebody said that to me, I would walk right out the door.
Yeah.
But it works for
But
them.
it works for someone else. Yeah.
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 I just want to I want to circle back a little bit on the mentorship side
Yeah,
of it
please
too.
do.
It's like I've said Guinevere is a great mentor. I also have another mentor who happens to be a male colleague who has been amazing, Morris Connor. And he has been very supportive and very helpful in making me feel like I know what I'm doing and feeling confident, and with you as well, but confident in asking a question and not feeling silly or stupid about asking.
Right.
So I just kind of wanted to put that male perspective in there too, because
Absolutely.
we've kind of
It
been
is important to
female
have.
oriented, but
Yeah, yeah.
there are a lot of male realtors out there that are great mentors too,
So good.
that are willing to help,
Yeah.
and are quite supportive of women in the industry too. But
Absolutely.
there are the few that,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. Well, and there's the few female too. I
Yes,
mean, the other
yes,
half, the
yes.
other half of my team is a male.
Yeah.
And if anything, we have some sort of gender switching roles in the sense that he's far more capable of writing a empathetic email than I am. Sometimes I'm like, I typed this up, fix it,
He's your chat GPT.
I was just going to say,
soften it,
does
please.
he Google?
He's your AI.
I didn't think that was
Wow. Well, this has been a great conversation. I'm going to do some rapid fire questions for you. I call them sort of like my 3 questions with just one thing. So my first question is this. One word, just one word, to describe your journey as a woman in real estate.
Evolving.
Oh.
I'm going to say stressful.
Okay. That's okay. That's a good
Yeah.
word. It's true.
It's been
Yeah.
been a lot.
Yeah. Evolving, stressful. Mine would be, yeah, similar, like, well, imperfect.
Oh, that's good.
Imperfect. That's the one that just
good.
came to my mind. One myth about women in leadership you want to dismantle.
We're emotional.
Oh, so good.
We're bitches.
Even better. I can't think of one. It's not about me anyway. It's about you guys. It'll come back. One thing every woman listening should believe about herself.
Everything you need is in you.
Ooh.
You just need to figure out what it is that you want.
Yeah.
And if leadership isn't it, that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So good.
I think that's, I would just say, do what you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Don't let the naysayers hold you back. If you feel passionate about something, follow the passion. It'll be hard.
Yeah.
It's not going to be easy, but follow the passion, because that'll get you through.
So good. Mine would be, you are worthy.
Oh, good
You are
one.
worthy. Yeah. You have everything. Just like Guinevere said, you have everything you need, and you can do it.
See, these are the things that we should be putting on the mirror in the morning.
Yeah. Stand in the mirror in the morning and go, I am worthy.
Yeah.
Because you are. You truly are. So good, guys. Thank you very much for joining us this morning. If you're a woman in real estate looking to lead or grow or connect, let's talk. We're here at Royal LePage Coast Capital. Guinevere Howes is a managing broker here. Sharon Dean is a real estate agent. We have an amazing culture of men and women who are growing together in real estate. and we would love to connect with you and talk. Guys, how can they get in touch with you? What would you like to say as your final words?
I guess email sharon.dean@royallepage.ca.
And just have a coffee, right? Just come sit and
Yeah,
chat.
absolutely.
Whether you're a client looking to buy or sell, or another agent that maybe is considering another brokerage or getting
Yeah.
into the industry, I'm sure you'd be happy to chat about that. And Guinevere, what about you?
Well, I'm pretty easy to find, but you might need to know spell my name. So I'm going to spell it. No, it's going to say
it's
on
going to say it on the
below.
screen, yeah. And attached to this podcast as well, you'll see our contact information for myself and for Sharon and for Guinevere. We'll have it all there for you. Ladies, thank you so much for joining us today. I think it's been really a great time. I can't wait to see the replay to see some of the things that we actually said. Like, did we really say that? But I appreciate you coming in today. Thank you for joining us. I hope you have found this insightful today, and we look forward to seeing you again here at the Red Chair Podcast. Bye.